Hello guys, Sophia Kiwi here. Welcome to my channel and to today's video. I am your digital dating coach here to help you get a grip around modern dating. So today's topic is how to know if your partner is a manipulator and what to do about it. Before we dive into this video, I want to thank all of you out there for supporting me, watching my videos, commenting. Thank you. I appreciate it very much and I am so happy. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's define manipulation. What is that? Manipulation is a psychological technique of influencing the behavior, thoughts, and feelings of another person, or sometimes even a group of people for your own benefit. At the same time, the person that is a victim doesn't always realize that they are being used. They change their behavior and are convinced that it's actually their own choice. As a result, the person who is manipulated neglects their true desires, needs, and acts according to the scenario of someone else. Only after some time, the victim wakes up and understands that the results didn't make them happy. On the contrary, they forced them to betray themselves. So as a rule, in order to manipulate other people, 3 strategies are being used. First one is impose a sense of guilt. The victim can't say no because they will feel bad. I think a lot of us are familiar with the situation when someone asks us something and we don't feel like we can say no to them, when in fact we have all the right to do. The second strategy is that the manipulator causes a sense of shame. So the victim might be criticized, ridiculed, and in order not to cause an argument, they begin to act based on the manipulator's opinion. The third strategy is that the manipulator instills fear in the victim. Using blackmail, threats, gives ultimatums. For example, a manipulator could tell their partner that if they don't stop communicating with their friends, the manipulator will leave them. Now, this is an extreme example, but still they are quite common. This is really where you should understand that a normal person would never say that. If you are going to call your friend Anna, well, I'm breaking up with you today. Of course not. Now, how does the psychology of a manipulator work? Manipulativeness is formed in childhood and becomes a significant character trait. People become manipulators for various reasons. Let's look into them. One of the reasons is imitation of the parental model of behavior. The child is used to coping interactions of their parents. Even as an adult, a person that grew up with manipulative parents perceives such communication as normal. It's the norm to them, so they don't even think twice about it. And the second reason for why people become manipulative is thinking there is no other way. For example, in childhood, yet again, the mother paid attention to the child only if they cried or were offended for some reason, and the child learned that this is the only way to get love from their parent. Having grown up, a person like this doesn't even think about the fact that there is another way to get care and attention, and there should be another way. Another reason for why people become manipulative is self-doubt and distrust in other people. In childhood, a person began to perceive others with hostility and thought that opening up is actually a weakness, opening up to other people. So sincerity is also being seen as a weakness for this kind of person. Often people act unconsciously because they deep down, maybe they convince themselves that I am good and all the other people, they are bad. Such people have serious internal conflicts. They deny the negative aspects of their character and are unable to admit that they are wrong. So their inflated self-esteem is an illusion, and behind it is fear and self-doubt, usually. So now that we have discussed the reasons for why people become manipulative, let's talk about the types of manipulators there is. It's quite difficult to recognize a manipulator because there are different types and they are not as obvious oftentimes. The paradox is that their behavior may be radically different, but their goal is always the same: personal gain. Here are the 7 most common types of manipulators. The first one is the dictator. So such a person communicates with others in an orderly manner, considers their opinion to be the only right one. If people don't agree with them or don't follow such a person's instructions, they begin to shout, threaten, and intimidate. The second type of manipulator is the chameleon. This is a person that adjusts according to the situation and their surroundings. They know how to flatter and inspire confidence while they don't actually have their own life position. Instead, they adapt to others, changing their point of view depending on what is more suitable in the moment. Such a person can talk trash about their boss and colleagues behind their backs, but in the end of the day, they will still round back to boss's office and tell on their colleagues all their shortcomings. Kind of a whistleblower there. So the third type of manipulator is the swindler. A swindler does everything consciously. Their actions are directed by their desire to benefit. They are incapable of sincere feelings because they calculate everything, always striving to snatch a bigger piece no matter the cost. The fourth type of manipulator is the bully. Their main method is aggression. They will achieve their goal by force and threats. According to them, others are always bad or not worthy of attention and respect. So people out there, if you know someone that is always talking bad about others or have this opinion that all people are all bad, they find fault in everyone, be careful. So the 5th type of manipulator is the well-wisher. They play the role of a nice person. They will help everyone, make friends with everyone. They seem kind and open, so everybody will want to help them in return, lend them money, come to their rescue in general. People underestimate these kind of people and take them for simpleton. They think that person is a simpleton and not much to wait from them, while they actually quietly achieve their goals. So the 6th type of a manipulator is the judge. And those of you who are familiar with the term narcissism and narcissistic people are going to recognize this type of manipulator. Because the judge, as you hear by the name, criticize and condemn others, ridicule their shortcomings, weaknesses. It's their way to increase their self-esteem at someone else's expense, to belittle others. However, these people will never admit their mistakes, shifting the blame for their failure to external circumstances or to you. You will be to blame for their mistakes and their shortcomings. The 7th, started to show on fingers again here. The 7th type of manipulator is actually the defender. They comfort, feel sorry for the victim, stand up for them, and thereby suggest that all around them are enemies And the only person to trust is the manipulator. They are kind of undercover. The defender is undercover, trying to hide what is actually their true self behind this kind mask of, oh, I'm always here for you. You can tell me everything, and you should tell me everything because I need to know all about you, and you should never know anything about me. They will talk, ask you questions, and never actually answer anything about themselves. So your subconscious will resist, like the victim will always consult with them and tell them everything. As I told you, you will feel like you need to tell them everything because, well, they are your only friend. Everyone around you just wants something bad for you, and they are your enemy. So you should not tell them anything. Well, now that we know the different types of manipulators, let's talk about how to protect yourself from the actions of manipulators. The first step, as we already know, is to recognize the manipulator. In psychology, we often talk about bells, signs, red flags, you name it, by which you can figure people out. You need to shift the focus of attention from the bells and signs to yourself, to your experiences and your sensations. Your subconscious will resist external manipulation and give you signals about it. So you should feel how you are actually perceiving the person you suspect is being a manipulator. So pay attention to signs such as internal discomfort, a feeling of anxiety, the appearance of self-doubt, and doubts in general about your beliefs. The second step is to admit the truth and honestly say, I am being manipulated. At the same time, it's useless to try to change the manipulator. It's best to stop communicating because in a tug of war, the manipulator will always win. You can never actually change their mindset. You will only get burned, and it's a waste of energy. But what if you can't stop interaction with a manipulator or with this specific person, with your partner, say? To prevent yourself from being used, you must do 3 things. It's stop acting according to their script. That is, don't react as they expect. The second is to don't be afraid to say out loud what is really happening. For example, you can always say, I feel that you are forcing me to do something I don't want to do. You're putting words at your feelings. You didn't actually say anything bad to them. That's exactly how you feel. And at the same time, you are letting them know, I'm not going to do this. So the third thing you should do, if you can't avoid a manipulator or get away from them, is separate your true feelings from those that the manipulator is trying to impose on you, because they are great at this. Say no clearly and firmly, and while not feeling guilty, don't try to make any excuses for it. Just say, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I don't feel comfortable. No. You should actually try to say that word out loud. No. How to distinguish manipulation from a request? This is actually good to know. As we already talked, no one wants to be called as the egoist and the person that never wants to help anyone else. So it's difficult for people to say no because no one wants to be called indifferent, right? So responding to the requests of others is actually a normal part of social interaction. But how do you determine if a person is manipulating and when they really need help? The answer is simple. By feeling that the choice is yours. So manipulative people persistently convince you that you should do as they say and nothing else. They will impose their will on you, causing a feeling of guilt and shame if you don't meet them halfway. A sincere person, someone real, will calmly accept and they will calmly accept a refusal, and they will not try to put more pressure on you to do as they say. They will just accept it because they respect your right to make a choice. So now that we know all that, let's talk about the 7 typical psychological manipulations. The first one is passive aggression. How do you know that? How to recognize it? The person does not express dissatisfaction directly and openly. It's expressed by, they could do this. They are being silent. They give you short or sarcastic answers. They ignore you. They refuse to answer directly to the question, what happened? And of course, if you don't get a direct answer, and you clearly see that something is not right, you begin to think that you are guilty of something. In order to fix it, you start to please the manipulator in everything, even if they are trying to guilt you for something that didn't actually happen. It probably didn't happen, even if it was, maybe it was something small, and you try to bring up all the possible reasons. Oh, wait, was it because I left the dish? I didn't wash the dishes before I went from home, or I didn't leave them a sweet note as I usually do because I was stressed, or like, it could be anything, very small things, but they will let it out, let you know that they are actually mad at you, but you will not know it. There will be this tension. What do? Best tip is to try to ignore passive aggression. Continue to be just as usual. If they pretend nothing happened, you do that too. Sooner or later, the manipulator will get tired of playing this victim role and stop. Now we come to emotional blackmail. That's the second psychological manipulative technique. How do you recognize it? In conflict situations, the manipulator resorts to threats. For example, they could say, you don't appreciate me at all, and I will leave you because, well, or if you did that, you would do that if you appreciated me, or, you know, that kind of things. Or if you leave, I die. I will die. You know, if someone says they will die if you leave or break up with them, this is actually something to be concerned for, and you could possibly talk to their parents, siblings, anyone close to this person that are trying to threaten you, if you feel that the threat could actually be for real, because we never know how another person thinks and what they actually feel on the inside. So what to do? Try to not pay attention to these threats in general, only if they have to do with someone telling you they will take their life. Then you should pay attention to them, and as I told you, talk to someone close to them. Otherwise, don't pay attention. If they continue to threaten you, break up with the person. And strongly advise them to seek help if they actually continue to burden you with this. Now, the third manipulative technique is bullying. A manipulator constantly criticizes you, analyzes every mistake in detail, and is happy to tell others about your failures and ridicule them. In this way, the manipulator simultaneously asserts themselves and destroys your self-esteem in order to bend you more to them. After all, without their help, how could such a weak creature as you actually survive in this cruel world? Unlikely, right? No, in fact, you would be just fine without them. So what do? Remember how you used to cope with life's difficulties before meeting this person. Maybe go out for a walk, start to read a book, meet up with some friends, you know, even if the person is telling you, no, I don't want you to meet up with your friends, I will break up with you. Okay, bye-bye. And now we have come to the fourth manipulative technique, and this one again, those of you who are familiar with narcissists and their behavior will know about this: gaslighting. The manipulator regularly denies saying everything or making promises. They distort your words or accuse you of misunderstanding them. It convinces you that you are exaggerating or overreacting to the situation, and it makes you doubt your memory and stop trusting yourself. You become more and more dependent on the manipulator. Now, this has to be one of the most cruel manipulative techniques, because you will feel like you are becoming crazy, in fact, because this messes with your mind a lot. Right? If I tell you something like, I went to the market today, especially if I mention it many times and I talk a lot about the market, and a few days later you ask me about, well, you mentioned that market you went to, like I was there too today, and I will be like, what market? I never mentioned the market. No, I have never been there. I live on the other side of the city. Never been there. Like, confusing your memory to this absolutely crazy point where you actually think that you are the one that is crazy. What do? Run. Gaslighting is one of the types of emotional abuse that actually it messes and is so destructive for your mentality that you should not even try to find a way to cope with it, or, ignore it. Absolutely not. Just walk away. The fifth manipulative technique, is excessive flattery. Now, we all know this also from narcissists. They love this, the bombarding of sweet messages in the beginning phases, but other manipulators do this too. The manipulator constantly empathizes what an incredible person you are and how much they appreciate you. For example, they could say, only you understand me, or we are twin souls, twin flames, this kind of words. Like if someone says this on the regular to you, you start to believe it. But at the same time, if it's false, you will feel it in your gut. You will feel like, now this is too much flattery. What do they actually want from me? Because they do want something. That's why they do it. And as a result, someone that is fearing to be this exceptional person to the manipulator, they stop and these people begin to do what the manipulator wants. Of course we want to be exceptional. Of course we want to be someone special, right? But if it's someone special to a manipulator, it's not much worth it. So this kind of person begins to take on all the unpleasant work, support the manipulator in everything, and try to guess and fulfill their desires and forget about their own desires and needs. What should you do in this situation? You need to remind yourself that you are valuable in your own right, not because of someone thinks you are a good and talented person. You should know that for sure. You should be the one telling yourself, I am talented, I am a good person, and I don't need anyone else confirming that fact. Now, the next manipulative technique is requiring proof. A person constantly demands to prove that your feelings for them are sincere. They might ask you to do some things, or stop doing other things in order to confirm. This way you will confirm that you love them. As a result, you fall into emotional slavery and you begin to fulfill requests of the manipulator. What to do? The first thing is actually to discuss this with your partner. Why are they feeling unsure about your feelings? Maybe you are bad at expressing your feelings, but if that is not the case, then most likely your partner is taking advantage of you, and try not to give in to it. If that doesn't work, end the relationship. Now, the last manipulative technique is actually the desire to emotionally isolate a person. This is also very common for narcissistic people, but also other types of manipulators. How do you recognize it? Your partner tries to make sure that you spend as much time with them as possible, if not all time with them. Actually, they will try to steal all of your time, and they will try to take the spotlight always. So they could say that they disapprove of your friends or your relatives and express dissatisfaction if you meet up with them, giving you the silent treatment, for example. So they try to make your whole life come down to the relationship with them and make it easier for them to control you, because your closest friends or your family could easily point out, hey, are you sure your relationship is as good as you think? Or I feel like they are manipulating you. Sometimes when we are in a relationship with someone toxic, manipulative, we don't see it. It's like we have these rose-colored glasses that we put on, and we just see this beautiful facade or this charming and kind person that we fell for in the beginning. And we don't actually see the red flags and the intuition screaming to us, run. So beware. And what do you do about this when you actually feel like someone is trying to isolate you, your partner is trying to isolate you? Don't forget that you have many important people in your life, and in order to maintain a balance, it's important to pay attention to every single one of them. So it's important that your partner also has friends and people they hang out with, not only you. Because first of all, you will get tired of each other very fast if you always spend time together 24/7. And secondly, they could be a manipulator that is trying to isolate you. So this was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Have you encountered a manipulator? I think a lot of us have, in fact, and maybe we can even tell a few names. So let me know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? I hope you found some helpful information in this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.